Hey, thanks for dropping in. Acqua, Pazza. Literally translated from Italian, it means crazy water. And it most often refers to, and forgive my pronunciation, pesce all'acqua pazza, which is fish poached in a light broth. Whatever you choose to call it, it's a really simple dish, absolutely perfect for summer. And here's how I make it. It starts with fish, of course. Just about any fish will do, but I prefer these prepackaged sole fillets that I picked up in the freezer section of my local supermarket. They come already trimmed and deboned and are absolutely essential for making quick midweek meals. Plus, I like that they're nice and thin. They cook fast and match up really well with a delicate broth. Speaking of broth, the bulk of it's made from this, a dry white wine. I'm using Pinot Gris from one of my favorite local wineries. Next, I've got the aromatics. These will provide the base flavors for the broth. So I've got purple onion, capers, garlic, and dry pepper flakes. Some fennel would be really wonderful in here too. I just don't have any. I'll give these a quick prep. Like that. I only need about half onion, which I cut into strips. And as for the garlic, I cut those into thin slices as well. I like to actually see the garlic in a finished dish. For the body of the sauce, I'll be using these cherry tomatoes. And to give it some contrast in life, I'll be adding a bit of orange and lemon. I'm not sure what type of orange this is. My wife bought it and it didn't have a label. I'm guessing it might be just a plain old navel. Let me just give these a slice. Like so. Like the onion, I'm only using a bit of the orange and lemon. I don't want a citrus sauce per se, only hints of citrus. Last, but definitely not least, I've got some beautiful fresh herbs. I have Italian parsley, dill, and some tarragon left over from a few days ago. Basil would also be fantastic in here, as would pretty much any soft herb, like fresh oregano. These will make the dish pop. Alright, now that everything's ready, I can start to cook. And it begins by heating up about a half cup of extra virgin olive oil in a pan. Once hot, in go the tomatoes. I'll flip them so the fleshy side is exposed to the heat and they can get nice and melty. The next step is optional, and I didn't include it in the ingredient rundown. And it's a tiny bit of tomato paste. I really love how it adds some extra umami to the final dish. You can leave it out if you want, if you don't want your sauce to be too tomatoey. Once the tomatoes are cooked down a bit, I can add my base ingredients. That's the onion, garlic, capers, and pepper flakes. I'll give these a minute to soften. The pan's ready for the star of the show, so in go the fish. Notice how the fillets are still slightly frozen? That's why I love sole for this dish. The fact that they're still frozen is absolutely not a problem. They can go in pretty much straight from the freezer. I'll lay them in one layer as best I can, then hit them with some freshly cracked pepper and a nice sprinkling of salt. Now I can add the actual poaching liquid to the pan, which is a wine. I'm not measuring it, I'm just doing this strictly by feel. I want the fish to be about half covered. Next up is the citrus, which I just lay in and around the sole fillets. At this point, I could turn the heat down to medium-low, slap on a cover, and let it cook for 8 to 10 minutes. But my pan cover's gone missing, and I suspect it might be in our yard, now being used as some sort of frisbee by my daughter and her friends. So I'll just leave mine uncovered and baste the fish every few minutes until cooked. Here it is after about 10 minutes. The final step is to crown this beauty with a generous shower of fresh herbs. And it's ready. Normally, I'd serve it just like this, in the pan. I think it's a real showstopper at the table. But I'll plate it up. So here you go. This is my version of Acqua Pazza. What you've got there is delicate fillets of poached sole in a broth that's honestly it's to die for. It's light and slightly tomatoey, but it's got depth and it's got a little zing from the citrus and a ton of freshness from the herbs. To me, this is what an ideal summer dinner is, and it's so easy to pull together. The only thing that could possibly make it better is a nice loaf of crusty bread to soak up all that delicious sauce. Thanks for watching. Before I go, I just want to send a big thank you to all the new subscribers to the channel. It honestly blows me away that anyone's tuning in. I hope you like this video, and if you do, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that button. Thanks, and I'll see you next week.